Good morning, good morning. It's the Last Minute Laura show. Good morning, good morning. Hello. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, May 20th. I don't know where May went, you guys. May is always a fast month for me. It feels like it goes by so quickly because it's our anniversary, it's my birthday, it's my sister-in-law's birthday, it's Mother's Day, it's planting the garden. May is a very busy month for me, and it feels like it's over, and I feel like I haven't even done anything yet, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna just have to truck through it, and we're gonna be okay. Ooh, I love the flip in your hair. Oh, thank you. It was a curl, and then I went outside, and the humidity is 100%. So, this is what happens. Curl your hair. And you know what's even funnier? I used a heat tool, like a heat brush, to curl it, and then I put it in rollers. I only used 3 rollers. I did 1 roller for each of the front sides, like just like this. I did 2 rollers, 1 on each side, and then 1 in the back the same way. And it was a perfect, like, curl. And then I went outside to take photos of the garden for you, and 100% humidity means I don't know what I was thinking. I did not need to be doing my hair today. Today was not a day that hair needed to get done. Ooh, I love the flare. Oh, I got that. Kittens are so cute. I have foster kittens. Oh, congratulations. Foster kittens sounds like a good time. Don't mind if I do. I don't have any foster kittens. I don't have any new animals. But I do have some new plants. We are going to be getting into what I think is going to be a really fun live stream. I've actually done prep work for the live stream today. So it's actually going to be like a facilitated discussion. I'll give you a little bit of an outline. So I was talking to a friend basically about how lots of people are getting into planting now, and I remember when the pandemic happened, a lot of people got into like preserving gardening, like they got into like trying to have food stores built up and whatnot, and that was like fear-based. But now a lot of people are getting back into the more wholesome, holistic, like community building with the handicrafts in a way that I feel like is good vibes. I feel like it's very 70s. Like in the 70s, there was a lot of crafting being done like anti-establishment style. Like, we're going to make our home decor because we can't be told what to buy. And like hippies were making their own stuff, you know? And it was kind of like not countercultural, but like it was like a protest in its own way. And now I feel like people are looking for community in ways that are not only online. I feel like the 90s and early 2000s, there was like Tumblr and everybody was sharing online. Instagram was like for sharing and like connecting with people, whereas now it's just for growing businesses and for doom scrolling and for sucking you into the tiny black box until you are like nothing but data. So I feel like a lot of people that I know, a lot of people I've come in contact with who are new gardeners are also new crocheters. And people who are new crocheters also got into plants as a hobby. And people who are learning to knit are also painting and doing macrame. Like, there's a lot of crossover in the crafts, and I think it's because the world is on fire and everyone wants to connect again. And I just thought we could talk about some of the trends that happened like through the decades, because like, you know, like macrame was huge in the 70s, but there were others. I wrote a list. I watched a couple videos, and then I decided to go on a little deep dive, and then, you know, special interest later. Do you know what brought part of it up in my head? Like, brought the fact that I wanted to go through the decades with it was Nicole. I can't remember her last name right now. We've talked about her before. Anyway, Nicole Rudolph, how she was talking about how fabric is all trash now. Like, even if you buy something that's 100% linen, the linen threads have been chopped up so that they're the same thickness as cotton. And so they're not really getting you the properties of linen anymore. By the way, sorry if it glitches today. I am not paying attention to that. I'm ready. I'm ready for the stream. Okay, what did I have? So let me just give you like an overview of what I've written down. 1940s, it was still necessary to do crafts. 1950s was the rise of when it became a hobby. 1960s is when it became more expressive and colorful. 1970s is when it became like a protest sort of. And the 80s is when lots of plastics got involved, aka acrylic. And then the 90s, the crafts actually shifted. There was a lot less yarn crafts, and there were a lot more things like beads and room decor, friendship bracelets, polymer clay. And then the 2000s, things went to like Tumblr and upcycling. There was a lot of upcycling and like changing clothes from one thing into another completely, or like reusing fabric. I feel like that was big in that time. And then now knitting and crochet is coming back in a pretty big way. There's also a lot of niche crafts that are coming around that I think are pretty cool. Sorry, I have to rub my eyeball. I know it's disgusting, but sometimes you just gotta rub the waterline of your eye and hope for the best. Sorry, I had like something sharp on my waterline, and it just keeps poking my eye every time I blink. And it's gonna make me go crazy. But not if I can get it out. I know. People are grossed out by eyeballs. Anyway, oh my god, it's not gone yet. This is why you should not bother wearing makeup. This is the reason. There we go. They are tiny little things, and I'm looking forward to this stream. Good, me too. I think it's going to be a good one, unless my eyes don't participate, because it's not super nice of them. Let me see how we are doing. Hello, Twitch. Nice to see you, Twitch viewers. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for being here. And YouTube viewers, both of you. It's just the 4 of us here, or the 5 of us, 6 of us. I know what I mean. You know what I mean. That's what's important. Okay, now one eye is crying because I rubbed it. Everything is fine. We're gonna be okay. Okay, so let's start with, what should we start with? I kind of want to show you the garden first. Is that cool? Like, I know I have this whole outline. I like made it. I wish I could show it to you. I'm not going to show it to you. But if I did, know that it's probably like 2 full pages typed. I have it in my notes app, so I don't actually know how long it is. Maybe it's even more. Maybe it's 3 pages. I have 1. Okay, never mind. I can scroll it all in one. Never mind. Okay. Oh yeah, Discord. Okay. By the way, how's everybody doing? Come on in while you get settled. Let me know how you doing. Girl, you ain't even ready. Guys, I planted the garden and I am awake and today's gonna be a good day. That's what I made the announcement in Discord today. Because I woke up at 6 a.m. What? 6 a.m. in the morning, Laura? Yes. 6 a.m. in the morning. I need Candace to show up ASAP. I've got important things to show her in the garden. Oh, Candace, where are you? I have things to show you this morning. I guess I have things to show all of you. I'm going to be like, let's be honest. We're going to have a great time. One thing is specific to Candace, so I figured it'd be a good thing. Okay, let's get into the Discord here, because I've got you some really nice photos of my garden. Thing number one that's really starting to be exciting. Hold on. Nope, that's it. That's the size. So this is a normal hosta. This size right here is a normal hosta. Look at that one next to it. Look, normal hosta leaf size. My favorite hosta. Normal hosta. My favorite hosta. So that's exciting. And my bleeding hearts are blooming. Don't mind if I do. It was beautiful yesterday, and I took a good chunk of the morning to really clean up the backyard, and I wanted you to see it because this is about as good as it's ever gonna get. Our ground, I wish I took a picture before. I don't know why I didn't. I never do this. I'm not an influencer, so I don't remember to take before pictures. I just afterwards I'm like, good job. So if you can see, there is now no mud and no extra dirt on the ground. I have painstakingly shoveled around all of the pots because there was just like muck everywhere. Good morning, Louisa. Oh, hi, Louisa. I didn't even say good morning to you. Anyway, there was just dirt around the planters. You can even see here, like there's like the shadow of mud. So I like went with a shovel, the little handheld trowel, and shoveled all around each of these pots to get any of the extra dirt. I mean, I missed some over here. As you can see, there's some like in between those two pots. But overall, scooped it all up, raked what I could, like anything big, and then with a broom, I'm telling you, here's the proof. Look, I used an actual household, look, there's the pile of dirt beside it. Do you see behind? That whole pot right there is filled with dirt, like dog poo, dog pee dirt. Dirt I'm not willing to put back in my garden. Dust, sand, and bits of seeds from like the trees that have been falling. You can see it between these two pots here as well, the seeds. Anyway, so they're all in that pot and in the pile behind, but I collected all of it. I washed the whole patio after, so this is like clean. And then after all of that, we had a thunderstorm last night. So our backyard is now spotless. This is the first picture, and I was like, I'll try and make it brighter for them. Also, yes, this is a beautiful lilac. Thank you for noticing. Gorgeous. So that was exciting. And by exciting, I mean I just felt really good about it. Like, look at the ground. Can you see how much cleaner? You can't even tell it's clean. I swear to God, it's so much cleaner than it was. It really is. It was much, much messier. It's so beautifully. Look at this. Could eat off that floor. Also, this morning, I saw that my bleeding hearts were really looking so cute. Don't they look just so cute? I'm obsessed with them. I think they're the cutest. I love when they come up in the spring. They make me feel so happy. Okay, next I have more garden pics, obvi. So this is the garden overview from above. You can see most of what I've got going on here. This entire bed is zinnias. I mean, there's other stuff, but primarily zinnias. Then this bed is primarily marigolds, and then this bed is primarily cosmos. It's going to be a beautiful color show this year. Rather than having color organized, like last year I did like this whole area is pink flowers, this whole area is blue flowers. This year, instead of that, I did this whole area's zinnias. All colors, but one type of flower. Oh, here's my first white petunia. I don't know, man. This is the closest I got to white. Is pink and white, and just soft pinky purple on white. That's what we get. That's what's going on. So this is the best I got out of my petunias. And my garden this morning was looking amazing, and I just wanted you to see. Look how nice these marigolds are. Aren't they cute? Stop. They're just so sweet. Also, the yarrow is just about to open. This is the yellow yarrow that I purchased instead of growing myself. This is really exciting, and no one is going to even notice except me for a while because of how small the plant is. This is a purple hollyhock. Look at her. She's going to open. She's going to open her first little baby flowers. I'm so excited to see what they look like. The plant is only 12 inches tall right now. I've considered cutting these flowers off so the plant will work harder on growing bigger, but I'm so excited to see the flowers. I just can't bear it. I have to see them. So I'm going to let it flower and then maybe I'll pinch it back. But isn't it cute? Hollyhock. More backyard pics. Never too many backyard pics, am I right? Here's another white petunia. Another white petunia from our petunia growing operation. Oh, this is exciting. My first strawberry is blooming. Uh-oh, are we glitching here? Let's see, how's it say we're doing? Nope, still shows okay. It just looks glitchy on my end. You let me know if the glitchiness starts to get out of hand, because I can't tell. Because on my end, it looks very glitchy right now. Is it super glitchy for you? Or is it fine? Oh, it's obviously glitching because Discord is just not working half the time here. Whoa. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to refresh my coffee and let the glitch just form itself out. Hello. I have returned, and hopefully we're not going to have to deal with any of that again. All right? All right. Very good. Okay, so anyway, back to the garden. Shall we have a look? So my strawberry plant, I have 2 areas in my garden where I have some strawberry plants, and one of them, there is a flower. Ta-da! So I may have 1 strawberry. All of these flowers hopefully will open, and as long as the slugs don't get them, the slugs will get them. They get everything. But if there was some lucky way that the slugs would not get them, that'd be great. Okay, so next, this is what I wanted to show Candace whenever you come in. This is exciting, so look. But also, everyone's welcome to look as well. Louisa, happy to show you also. I just am excited to show Candace because she gave me the seeds for this plant, which I've now grown over the last 3 years, and this year is its 3rd year. And look, my crane-billed scented perennial geranium is blooming, and the little flowers are just so cute. It's more about the leaves with this plant. It's just exciting to see flowers because that means it lived another year. And it is huge. It's literally taken over the whole pot in 3 years, which is awesome. From seeds. And I think I put, 2 or 3 plants? Anyway, this is what the flower looks like up close. It's very cute. It's very delicate, and it's very, detailed. There's lots of, intricate little patterns on it. And I think it looks so cute and so tropical up close, and then you zoom back and you're like, oh, I guess it's not really tropical, but it is kinda, isn't it? She's a cutie. Also, one of my celosias is starting to bloom. This is the flamingo feather, as you might be able to tell. I've decided not to pinch this one, at least for a while. Another petunia that looks white, but on closer inspection is actually very, very pale pink. I don't know why the camera's not showing it. It's making me look crazy, but really, I promise this is not a white petunia. Another celosia that's about to start blooming is this coxcomb celosia. You can see how big the flower is. It looks like it's going to be a bright fuchsia fuchsia pinky red color, which is going to be fun. I don't care for the coxcomb celosia, but I grew it from seed, so I love it. The truth is I don't care for it, though. Here's another one of those petunias where you look at it and you're like, oh, it's not a white petunia. It's actually the palest pinky purple, but it was supposed to be pure white. This is not a pure white petunia. That's not white. That is not a white petunia, Laura. Also, there's this color, which was really pretty. And that's that. Now moving right along. Beautiful, beautiful bleeding hearts. Garden again. This is what it looked like after a big rain. So now you can see what I was cleaning up. Unfortunately, you can see that it also came back overnight. The mud, the dirt that just accumulates is, well, it's accumulating. Excuse me. My neck hurts so bad. Okay, also my choke cherry, still doing the most, although we are losing blossoms now, which is good because that means we are going to get fruit. Blossoms equals fruit. I thought the flowers were supposed to be pink, which is fine. I don't really care. I just wanted a choke cherry tree, but in case you were wondering, the flowers are white, not pink. Also, over the weekend, I went and picked up plants over the weekend on Monday. Not over the weekend at all. On Monday, I collected some new plants. I went to a faraway town and met up with another planty lady, and we traded. I gave her a flat of plants, and then she loaded up the back of my car, essentially. She gave me a flat of plants, and then she just kept handing me things and said, how about this? Would you like this? And at the end of it, I took my phone out, and I was like, okay, so what is the total? Because originally, I was going there to pay $20 to buy 12 zinnias. That's it. 12 zinnias, $20. That was what we had agreed on. And then we talked, and I said, I've got a bunch of flowers. She said, oh, I'd love to do some trades. So I brought over a flat for her, and she loaded me up. And then I said, okay, so $20. And then what about for all this stuff? And she was like, oh, I'm not taking your money. We traded. You brought me plants. And I was like, yeah, but I'm buying these ones. And she said, no, we're trading. I was like, okay, thank you so much. And she toured me her whole garden, which was wonderful. She had the most beautiful shade perennial garden. She had like big pine trees on her property, so a huge amount of her garden was shade. And we exchanged information so that we can connect in the spring to split our hostas and trade. But I'm going to show you what I got from her. But before that, when we finished with her and drove somewhere, we went to this parking lot to have lunch. We had Wendy's. And at the edge of the parking lot, there was this thicket of lilacs. And I'm talking, it was like, I don't know, 100 feet. I'm trying to think, like, in parking spaces, probably like 6 parking spaces by 10 parking spaces is how big the like area of lilac was. This big, huge thicket. Anyway, I went in to go pick some lilacs. And when I was in there, I realized they had like 10 or 12 dominant trees, but there were saplings coming up everywhere. And so I took it upon myself, as it was a Wendy's parking lot garden, I took it upon myself to pull a couple of the saplings, which were not, I didn't need to dig anything. I simply held the trunk and pulled up, and they came. I did my version of guerrilla gardening, okay? I took some lilacs from a giant thicket. No one will ever notice because these were saplings next to the mother trees. They weren't bothering anybody. Nobody was bothered. Let me start here. Nobody was bothered. However, look at how many little saplings are in there. There's like 5 in this one and 2 in that one. So that's 7 additional lilac trees. They won't all live, so like don't even worry about that. But look at what the flowers look like up close. It's a double lilac. It looks like a wisteria. Isn't that stunning? I was obsessed. So I literally said, Alex, you need to pull over. And he was like, why? And I said, I need to go look. I need to go look at these lilacs. And then I came back with a handful of them. And he was like, I thought you were going to like take a couple branches for flowers. And I was like, no, I want to grow them. And he was like, you pulled those out of the earth? And I was like, I'll show you. And he's like, no, it's fine. So thank you, Alex, for supporting whenever I want to pull over for a dead animal or a plant. True love. This lilac, though, is stunning. And right now, she's a little wimpy. But in a couple of years, I have now added to my collection is what happened. So thank you for not making me feel weird about it. Hey, Candace, good morning. Yes, I'm going to show you in a second. Ready? Also, look at my creeping phlox. I found out what it was. It's cute, isn't it? Okay, ready, Candace? Ready? Oh, hold on. Did I have any others to show you? No, that was it. Okay, ready? Da 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 da. No, hold on. Everybody hold still. Okay, ready? Here we go. Da 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 da. She's blooming. Happy birthday, little geranium. I'm always so happy when this comes back to life. I'm happy when all my plants come back to life, but for some reason, I would never have picked this plant. That sounds like such a backhanded compliment. I would never have gone to the garden center and purchased this perennial. I just wouldn't. It doesn't call to me. I don't look for plants for shade gardens, even though I love hostas. I never want to buy them. I never want to buy perennials for a shade garden. It's just like it's like a little idiosyncrasy about me. And yet, now that I have this one, it's one of my favorites. Look how big the plant has gotten. It's gorgeous. It's like look how big it is. It's like 3 feet wide, this plant. And it overwinters pretty well. Some of them died back, but like nothing upsetting. Not like a huge amount of dieback, just like a reasonable amount of dieback. And yeah, so also if we could just have a quick look back here at my gorgeous ostrich fern. Thank you. It's one of the prettiest things that I have in my garden. And it's like, I wish it would just multiply. I wish I could have 1 million of these. They're so pretty. At my future final home, I will. Anyway, the geranium is now in bloom. She's come to life. The petals are spectacular. And the plant itself is also amazing. Aren't the leaves just so pretty? They look like tree stars. I want to be a little baby dinosaur so I can eat them. Okay, that's that for that. Now we can get back in. This one you cut and put it in a storage, the geranium? No. Yes and no. So regular geraniums, yes, those are a tropical plant. I think they're a different genus, but they're the same family, or the different family, the same genus. Perennial geraniums versus the other kind. Cool. Let's see. Perennial geraniums are winter hardy garden plants that return year after year. The other kind, typically found in garden centers, are actually pelargoniums. Pelargoniums. They have woody stems, spherical flower clusters, and require winter protection. So they're not even a geranium. What I'm growing is a perennial, so it'll live outside on its own. What we grow as geraniums is not actually a geranium. Cool. I don't know why they decided to do that to us, but it's not the same. The ones that I cut and put in storage are a tropical plant that goes dormant. The ones that live outside are a non-tropical. What's the other kind? What's not tropical? If a plant is not tropical, what is it? Let's see. Typically classified. If a plant is not tropical, it is typically classified by the climate region where it naturally evolved and survives best. Okay, here we go. Temperate, native to regions with distinct seasons. Okay, that would be us. 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall. These plants are well adapted to frost, snow, and freezing winter. Okay, so temperate. Temperate. Subtropical, native to areas bordering the tropics. That's not us. Mediterranean, native to regions with warm, dry summers. Not us. Arid desert. Not us. So we are temperate. I'm a temperate girly. I'm a temperate Ontario girly. Or Ontario is a temperate place. I don't know. Gardening in this hemisphere is difficult for me. I was used to easy planting in Colombia. In Colombia, put stick in ground, it roots and survives. To live somewhere where the plants just absolutely want to survive. Couldn't be me. Seriously, that's not true. A lot of the plants that I have are trying to survive, and I'm just not giving them everything they need, which happens. It's that time of year where I'm getting exhausted with the seedlings. That being said, I have planted most of my seedlings, so I do feel good about that. I feel like we are mostly okay. I just need to plant out my dahlias. I have not planted those. And what else have I not planted? Pretty much just my dahlias. Everything else is probably fine outside. I'm waiting on the dahlias because I don't want them to die. Speaking of dahlias, I actually want to show you the varieties of dahlias I got from this lady. Dahlia, what's it called? Brown sugar? Yeah, brown sugar. Brown sugar. Look at how interesting this cool variety of dahlia is that I am growing now. I just all at once became a dahlia girly. It's an all at once thing for me, apparently. Okay, so dahlia brown sugar is neither brown nor sugary. It's like an orange color, which I'm gonna be honest with you, the more I look at it, the more I'm trying to be okay with it. Because like this, if this is what brown sugar looked like, I'd be like, that's perfect. That's what I want to grow. But this is not what I want to grow. I do not want to see that much orange in my garden. I hate orange. I don't hate orange. I hate orange. It's just, you just have to bear with me on that. I don't hate orange. I hate orange, okay? Anyway, this is one of the dahlias. I thought it was going to be more brown, and now I'm looking at it, and it's very orange. I thought it was going to be like this, which is like browner, but like it's looking more orange. Anyway, that's one of them. And then the other one is called Red Runner. That's this guy. Am I giving both of these to Julia? I don't know. I like the size of these ones is something that I like. And I kind of like the idea of having them go white on the tips. Dahlia Red Runner. This says Red Runner and it has white on the tips. And then other ones don't have white on the tips. Can you decide what you want to be? Can you decide who you are, Dahlia? That's not what I wanted. Okay, so that's one. And then I've already shown you, oh, my lifestyle one died, which is so sad because that was my favorite one. And I paid actual money for it. This one, the tuber died. It's one of the only ones I actually paid for this year. I've done a lot of trades and I've also grown a lot from seed. But I bought this one as a tuber and I rotted it by overwatering, which is so disappointing because look at how pretty it could have been in my garden. So I don't have that, but I do have Frank Holmes, which is a cutie. It's just a teeny tiny one. Do you see how small? She's gonna be so pretty. And apparently this puts out like 100 flowers. One plant puts out like 100 flowers. So I have 2 tubers for Frank Holmes. Probably won't get 100 flowers, like just realistically. But if I get 20, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate having 20 of these. And then I also have just pom-pom mix. Dahlia pom-pom. From a mix. I don't know what I'm getting. I'm hopeful it's not solid oranges and stuff like this. I would really like if we don't have a bunch of oranges. Unfortunately, even if they are orange this year, I will keep them and I will save the tubers. It's just if they are orange, they are never coming back into my garden. They will be given lovingly to my little sister who loves orange. Don't know what that's about, but she loves orange in her garden. So hopefully none of my dahlia pom-poms come out that color. But if they do, Julia will benefit. So it's all good. So that's what I picked up. Oh, I'll show you the zinnias I picked up from her. I can't show you the actual physical zinnias because I planted them already, but I can show you what they were called. Aurora zinnia and Sahara, was it? No, Aurora ballerina and Queenie lime red. These are the 3 colors I picked up. And then she also gave me strawberry gomphrena. And then she also gave me Q1S yellow status. I think that's it. And then a couple of mystery dahlias and mystery geraniums. I love other people who also love plants. Okay, ready? So this is Zinnia Aurora. It's a mix, but the idea is that it goes from one color to another. I would love if all of them came out this color. This is not orange. That is a dark yellow. But look at the colors it can come in. It can be, honestly, it looks like it's going to be orange. Am I going to have an orange garden this year? No, I'm not. I will not. They will instead not be orange. They will be pink and yellow. This is what Aurora looks like. So I have 3 or 4. I have 4 of these. And then I have 4 ballerina, which it looks like they can be a mix of single and double. Like this is all singles. That's a double. These are all doubles. So I guess the plants can put out singles too. Is that accurate? Ballerina. Do we see any singles in this photo? Not really. Okay, so ballerina, I got 4 of those. And then I also got 4 Queenie Lime Red. I don't really know why. I just felt like it could be cool, even though, again, it's giving orange. It's giving orange. It's not going to be orange. None of it's going to look orange in my bouquets. I will be pairing them with lots of pink and lots of purple. They will look pink. Just let me convince myself. Next, she gave me a bunch of plants for this guy, which is pretty cool. This is a strawberry gomphrena, which kind of looks like clovers when growing. It doesn't look like clovers, but like the flower heads kind of look like a clover, but it's still very pretty. And then the other one is status. She gave me 3 status plants for yellow status. So I have the apricot shades, which is this kind of a color. It's pink and apricot, but now I have pure yellow, aggressive yellow status, which I think will be great for my dried flower bouquets. Next year, I think I want to get purple status. Wouldn't that be fun? I think next year might be a year where we incorporate a bunch of purple. Don't you think? I feel like we need some purple. We are going to get into the craft talk. I made a list. I made an outline. Let me see. Purple annual flowers. Let's see what options we have for purple annual flowers. Shall we? Don't worry, I promise. We're for sure getting into my really important document, which is like 2 pages long probably. Okay, so I'm growing this. No, I'm not. I'm not growing that. I lied, immediately lied. I'm growing this. Yeah. Okay, so I'm growing this year. What other purple flowers could we add? I guess we could search our actual, like, purple zinnia varieties. See if there's more than one kind of purple. Wouldn't that be kind of fun to just get only purple, but what purple? Oh, purple and yellow look so good together. Screw orange, but purple and yellow look great. Okay, so there's options. I like that. Purple zinnia, purple, what? Cosmos. Okay, not really. Purple dahlias. Lots of options for purple dahlias, folks. I think I'm kind of in love with this shape. Whatever this shape is called. Toby, don't bother them. They're just trying to play. Yeah, whatever this shape. Anemone style. I like the anemone style dahlias. Very cool. Very cool. Glad we're all on the same page. Thank you, my darling. Okay, now let us pray. Nope. Let us dive in to the document. I made a document, so you all have to listen. Ready? Okay, so let me... I said ready, but actually I'm not ready because what I have to do is take a big drink of my coffee. I already took my meds and organize what I'm going to be crocheting. Has anyone here ever injured their tailbone? I need advice, but I don't want to go to a doctor. I'm going to go to the doctor. I just wish that I could find a solution on my own. I feel like my tailbone is broken. It's obviously not broken because I'm sitting on it, but it hurts to sit and it hurts to stand up. It doesn't hurt once I'm sitting, but standing up and sitting down, it's like horribly painful in my tailbone. All right, now let's move everything out the way so we don't cause the thing that we cause often here on this channel. Okay, I took out all of my acrylic yarn because I need to figure out what to do with this sweater. I have run out of yarn. There's no way I've run out of yarn, but I have. It doesn't make sense, like, logically, because I know that I organized this sweater so that I would have enough yarn for it, but we're just gonna move past that because, bro, I don't know. I'm not in charge of the yarn gods. I lost yarn chicken. I probably did something in a past life to deserve this punishment, and I accept defeat, and now we will just continue. We will persevere. Maybe if I do the front body with piece from the sleeve, I could get it. I could get the body pieces done at least. Have them look the same. But I think we need to add some new yarn color in. Also, I have such bad posture. Okay. We have to bring a new yarn color in because I've run out of the yellow yarn. We're not going to have enough to do the second sleeve, which is not an ideal situation to be in. But we do have other acrylic yarn to choose from, so I figured we could choose that today. We could also just use the rest of the orange yarn. I'm like hating on orange, and then orange is all over me right now, just in my life everywhere. Okay, that's like the bane of my existence. One of the benefits of center pull cakes is they don't roll away from you. All right, anyway, let me get into my doc here. So what I wanted to talk about is, let me see how I can jump in. I have it as bullet points. I'm not just going to read you my bullet points. Okay. So, I wanted to talk about, as you saw from the title, why grandma crafts, handicrafts, grandma hobbies are A, trending again, and B, never really gonna stop trending. And it kind of takes on different meanings with different generations. And I feel like with the current, maybe not generations, but the like current in time periods, and the current time period, people are so disconnected because the internet, which promised to be a place to connect people, turned out to be not entirely that. And now people want to find ways to connect. And if you think about it, like in the 90s, you'd wear a rock shirt so that someone else who liked the band you liked would go, "You like that band?" And then you would go, "Yes." And then you would have an instant friend. And then in the early 2000s, it kind of just switched to being fashion instead of being a representation of yourself. It just became a representation of like culture. So then you wearing a Beatles shirt doesn't mean you're a Beatles fan. So now you've lost a way to connect with a stranger. So the handicrafts is like a super visible way to have your community. It's like our own pride flag. It's like for the crocheters, if you're wearing crochet, everyone who crochets knows that it's crocheted and that it's handmade. And they mostly assume that you probably made it because crochet is very expensive to buy. So, like, I never have people say, "Oh my gosh, I love your sweater. Where did you get that?" They say, "I love your sweater. Did you make it?" They know I made it because it's crocheted. So it's like a connection that allows you to just make real human connection. It's like, it's something that we can have in common. And what I say about crochet that I really like about it is it makes me feel connected, knitting as well. It makes me feel connected to all of the women of forever, since forever. Like, I don't get to feel the connection to the womanly power of like the goddess of earth, whatever. I don't get to feel the womanly power of having a baby, but creating, like, with things that women have been creating forever, I can still do. And that makes me feel connected to the history of it all, because my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma probably was knitting, you know? And my great-great-great-grandma and my great-grandma and my grandma, all of them were knitting. And so even though I don't get to connect with them by being like, my grandma had a baby, my great-grandma had a baby, and now I have a baby, I don't get that connection. I can connect through this. And it feels very big and deep and true. It's like when I'm making pottery. When I harvest clay from out in the wild by the side of the river, and then I process the clay outside, and then I add my sediments to it, and then I form it into a bowl, and then I fire it. That whole process is very slow. It's very intentional, and it's very connecting. It makes me feel connected to, like, all. It makes me feel connected to all. It's how I spread my mycelium. And yeah, now some of the things that are trending, I looked at what's trending in handmade. Amigurumi is still right up at the top. Granny squares still right up at the top. Oversized cardigans, bucket hats, and cozy blankets. Knitting also has had a big uptick in the last few years, with a lot of slow fashion kind of narrative around it. Like, the reason why we want to do knitting is for slow fashion, whereas the reason why we want to do crocheting is for originality and creation. So some of the reasons that people have said that they like crochet is that it feels meditative and it makes it feel comfortable. And I feel like that is a different way of saying it makes you feel connected to all of the women of the past. It's meditative and makes you feel comfortable. Why? Because every woman forever has been doing it. Obviously, I'm being gender specific because I'm just using gendered language, but recognize when I'm saying all women forever have done this, most people throughout the past had different skills. The gender divide was bigger. It was mostly women. Obviously, at some points in history, men were doing those things too. And throughout history, I'm sure there were some men doing those things and whatnot, but generally it's like a woman's craft, anything to do with like keeping the family fed, happy, clothed, housed. So younger people aren't learning from parents. That's something else that's interesting about this time frame. Before this, it was like the book that you could find at the library or your grandma. That's where you were going to get the knowledge. There was no internet to help you out. And in a lot of cases, in the before times, there was no book to help you out. It was your family member, or maybe you could go to school and learn it. But a lot of these handicrafts were passed down from people, and now there's the internet, so more people have access to a grandma to teach them, essentially. So there's this new generation of people who are learning these handicrafts not out of necessity, not culturally as part of their upbringing, but like as intentional hobbies. This amount of yarn that I'm pulling out is kind of very upsetting. I kind of hate how much I have to unwind it. I can't do anything about it. It's just the life we live. Okay, so now that we made it through the kind of intro to it, I want to do a breakdown of the decades and like what was quote unquote trending for the decades, and what we can see kind of like the same and what we can see that's very different, for example. So I just decided to start in the 40s because that's like, modern-ish. So in the 40s, crafting was necessary, and it wasn't for fun and for hobbies. It was still fun sometimes. Christine, hey there. We gonna be the warmest, cutest granny square wielding zombie apocalypse fighters from these hobbies. We are gonna be so ready to be comfortable when nuclear winter comes. We are gonna be so warm and cozy in our bunkers because we will have crocheted so many blankets. And because we crocheted so many, they were ziplocked in airtight bags so they don't get the fallout on them, which is why everyone in our bunker will be wearing them. I craft so I do not unalive people. I craft so I do not unalive people. I'm a person, right? Just kidding. So in the 40s, the things people were handicrafting, it was women mostly. But during the war, it was expected for young men, like children men, boys. Wow, children men. It was expected for boys to also knit because they needed to knit socks for the troops. So knitting socks for the troops was something everybody could help with. And so a lot of people learned to knit for that purpose. Sewing and mending clothes, again, big at that time. People were not spending on new stuff because everything was going to the war. So people were doing a lot of mending. And what else? Embroidery and quilting and doilies were still big. But I guess there's not just... The war wasn't the only thing that happened in the 40s. Okay, and let's see. People crafted because they needed to, so not just for aesthetics. So the patterns in the 40s for knitting and crochet would be minimalist in the way that they tried to use the least amount of supplies. So if you were sewing something, you'd want it to have the least amount of fabric used or the least amount of cuts made. You're trying to be efficient and you're trying to save money because the war effort is the most important thing. And obviously that's not the way that we have it now, because now people are spending obscene amounts of money on craft supplies every year. Whereas in the before time, it wasn't considered like a hobby. So it wasn't something you budgeted as a hobby. It was something that was part of the family expenses, because mom needed to have the supplies for mending in order to make the school clothes work. You know what I'm saying? So the 40s was like a totally different vibe, but even still, culturally, art crafts, like handicrafts that were artsy, were still being passed down. So like crocheting doilies, useful? I don't know. Functional? Okay. Pretty? Yes. Time consuming? Yes. Beautiful and hand-downable? Yes. I'm sure the people who made them thought that they were going to be handed down for generations. Unfortunately, like, the generation that got them just put them in a tote, and then they got just mice. Like, I don't know. Whenever you go to the thrift store, there's doilies. There's tons of handmade doilies, and yet lots of them are stained and lots of them are damaged from like pee, like mouse pee, cat pee, I don't know. It's just, you can tell there's like a urine smell. And okay, hold on, I need to count for a sec. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25. Okay, and now this one needs to be 25. There's the hook. 1 second. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18, and I need 25. Cool. And I'm gonna take yarn from the sleeve to do my 25, which is probably going to take a good little chunk of my sleeve out. Has anyone ever sewed their granny squares together with a machine? If so, what kind of beginner machine should I get? I've never sewn before. Beginner machine, any of the ones that are at the entry stores, you know, like Walmart, whatever. I prefer Brother or Singer as the two varieties. That's mostly what's available, is Brother or Singer. But I don't know why I don't say Singer. I feel like it's Singer. I know that I say Singer with a soft G when I'm saying someone who sings, but for some reason when it's that brand, it's Singer. Just whatever. Don't worry about me. Anywho, oh wait, I guess I can count. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And since it's wider, we'll do 8, 9, 10. We'll do 10 rows off. Anyway, I would pick one of those two brands, mostly because when you need service for a sewing machine, which you always will, sewing machines are not, they're not one and done. You have to maintenance them like a piano. Did you know you have to maintenance a piano? You should maintenance them like once a year. Nobody maintenances anything once a year. So you maintenance it when it starts making a loud noise. Unfortunately, that makes it more expensive to have the maintenance done. But all of the people who do maintenance on sewing machines, they know Brother and Singer. When you bring another brand to them, which I've done, I've brought in, I think LG is one of mine. LG makes a sewing machine. Anyway, I have another brand also that's like a, maybe Mead? I think it's a Walmart brand. Anyway, and they don't know what to do with it. That's not what they're trained on. They will clean it as best they can, but they don't guarantee it. Whereas Brother and Singer are like established brands for sewing machines. Like there are Singer and Brother machines from like the 1800s. Don't get one of those. You're just going to need one that does a straight line and a zigzag. You don't need to be buying one of these like $600 ones that does letters. You're never going to use them. You will use them on the first day that you open the machine because it's interesting and fun, but you'll never use them. You'll never use any of those fun stitches. The one that looks like a leaf, you'll never use it. The one that looks like a square that goes into a circle forever. What's that called? A square spiral. You don't need any of those. You need a straight line. You need a zigzag line. Pretty much that's it. Honestly, a straight line and a zigzag line will get you most of the way there. So I would say use a zigzag stitch if you're sewing two granny squares together. Use a matching thread because it's a different yarn or it's a different thread altogether. So matching the color will make it less obvious. Also recognize your blanket will not have stretch along those seams if you sew it because, geez Louise, because thread for a machine doesn't have stretch, even though your crochet will. Thank you. You know me, and you know I would buy the one I don't need. You know, I know all of us, Christine. I know we'll all buy the one we don't need. I know that about us. We can't be held responsible. I'll go with the brother. Brother! Help me! Long live the king. Okay. I think this is probably enough. I didn't look where my 10 rows ends. This is probably 10 rows. Imagine how annoyed I would be, though, if I did not have enough yellow yarn to finish the body. It would make me upset. So I'm going to just take more than I need, and then we'll do the sleeve as needed. as necessary, as it were. As it were. That's probably good. I'm gonna just rip to the end of this row. Also, something I did yesterday, which was a lot of fun, I was waiting for myself to cool down. I started getting a rash while I was outside, and it was just from the heat. But I started feeling it on like my legs, and I thought maybe I touched poison ivy. And then I started feeling hot, and I was like, oh God, what's happening? What's wrong? And then, nope, I just started getting hives on my body. Weird, like they felt like bee stings, little bee stings on all over my body. And it felt like I was getting stung. Like I would go like, ow, ow, ow. And so I came back inside just to cool down. I cooled down, reapplied sunscreen, all of the hives went away, and I was fine in like an hour. Whatever. I'm not the doctor. I don't control these things. My body just does whatever it feels like. So, hold on. Let me just tie in my yarn here. Do I want to tie it here or do I want to tie it at the end? I do want to tie it at the end, even though it means I have to redo an entire row. Anyway, yesterday, while I was waiting to cool down, I sharpened all of our knives. So right now, all of our knives are razor sharp. Like they're sharp enough that they'll cut paper, you know? I like really took time and sat down and sharpened all of them. And then, because I was already up, I sharpened all of our scissors. And I gotta tell you, I can pick any of the pairs of scissors in my scissor bowl, any of the pairs, and all of them are sharp now. And I have, I don't know, 15 pairs of scissors. I have a problem. When I buy a new pair of scissors, I never throw out the old scissors. They just become less important scissors. So if I buy a new pair of scissors, that is now my fabric scissors. Don't use for anything else. But now the ones that were underneath that one that were the fabric scissors are now allowed to be used for other things. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually the scissors get to the point that they're being used outside for plants. And that's like the final life cycle of a pair of scissors for me. So right now, samurai you are. I literally am, if you need your knives sharpened, I know a guy. His name is Laura. And I'm thinking that I'm probably pretty good at it now. Based on the fact that didn't hurt myself. That's a win. I handled 35 blades yesterday. I made that number up. If I sharpened, let's say 10 pairs of scissors, that's 20 blades. And then all of our knives, that's probably 10 knives. So maybe 30 blades. And I didn't get hurt at all. So basically, pretty sure I'm a professional knife sharpener. Christine, I started coloring again and found the cutest coloring book featuring adorable animals committing crime, a koala robbing a bank, and the pages are simple. That's cute. I kind of love that. Your butter just melts at the sound of the knife drawer opening. Literally, like I was cutting paper towel to test it. Like, because I was wiping off the blades after I would finish the last, like, sharpen, and I would wipe the blade, but then I would wipe the front of the blade with the paper towel. Obviously I was being careful, not trying to cut myself, and it would slice the paper towel. I was very excited. And then I did the same thing with a sponge, and then I started doing it with a paper, and then an hour and a half had passed, and I was like, I'm not hot anymore, and I forget what I was doing. Then I washed all the knives and put them away, and now I feel like my mental health is better. Having a drawer full of absolutely razor sharp knives, it cured my depression. That doesn't sound like they're linked, but just understand that it was very, very, very satisfying to hear how unsharp they were, and then at the end to hear how sharp they were. It was very, very satisfying. I do love a very sharp knife. Okay, let's get back into our craft talk. I am going to just keep crocheting straight rows until I hit 25 rows of yellow, and then we're going to have to switch colors. I'm going to need your help with that because I don't have a color plan anymore for this sweater. Let's be honest, the color plan was like mediocre at best, but now I have even less of a color plan. So actually I have to go pee, so I'm going to go pee. Sorry, ADD. And while I go pee, I'm going to just give you the next moment to think about what the next decade is. So the 1950s is the next decade we're talking about. Big things that were big in the 50s were needlepoint, making aprons, decorative embroidery, ceramics, and crochet afghans. So that is going to be the next bit. I'm just going to run and go pee for a sec. You guys stay here and talk amongst yourselves. Where's that little thing that lets me break? Here, start a break. Need to take a break? Start a break. Okay, there's my break. I will be right back. I will turn my music up and my microphone down, and you guys can just talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Have returned. Here I am, okay. Do 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 do. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, everyone. Okay, all right. Okay, everything's looking good. Beautiful. Okay, let's jump right back in. So the 1950s, still, we're talking about things being more for necessity, but starting to get into like for fun. Is that a skirt? I love it. Yes, thank you. It was $2 at the thrift. It is 100% cotton. It is from Ardene's, which I never knew sold clothes, like real clothes, but I like it. It also has permanent stains, but I just don't care. But thank you. And it has pockets. All of these things, you didn't ask for details and I give them. Okay, so 1950s, crochet afghans. I could tell you all about how big those were. My grandma had so many crocheted afghans from the 50s and 60s and 70s, honestly. Sorry, I just need to... there's permanent stains. I didn't mean to show them to you. I was just trying to get my leg up, but now you get to see them too. Okay, so these were... in the 1950s, it was like trying to make women excited about being at home again, because women had been working through the years of the war, World War II. So World War II ended, all the men, some of the men came back, and women were expected to go back home and be moms and homemakers. So there was a big push to make homemaking take up your time in a way that didn't used to be important, because you had to do the handicrafts because that was the only way for the things to get made, like knitting socks and stuff. But then the rise of like mechanically made fabric. What's the word I'm looking for? Like machine woven? You know what I mean? Like fabric that people didn't have to knit. When that became available, people didn't need to be knitting socks. They didn't need to be knitting hose. Suddenly that time was free, and now the women have to go back home, but there's all this free time because you don't have to do some of those like tasks anymore. So it was the rise of like the homemaker and surely the government, but in addition, just like society was perpetuating the idea that the home is like a beautiful place for women to take care of. So there was a lot of like decoration, like I said, needlepoint. That's like for no reason. Needlepoint is just for art. You don't needlepoint a lot of things. You needlepoint like wall hangings, you know? They're not like, it's not a very functional craft is my point. It's pretty, but in the 1950s, that's what it was about, was it being pretty. And then also, what was the other one? Apron sewing. You were going to be wearing an apron most of the day. You might as well have your apron be fancy schmancy. And then decorative embroidery, because what am I going to do at home? I'm going to decorate everything, and everything I decorate is going to be decorated to the 10th. To the nth? To the nth. And that included embroidered things. And my grandma was one of those ladies. Everything in her house had extra embroidery was just added to it. And also, I found ceramics started being a big thing. So I wonder if like industrial kilns were becoming accessible to like people. I don't know why ceramics became big. Maybe because it was somewhere you had to go to do something and there was not a lot to do. Good morning, Michelle. Nice to see you. So, the idea of the 1950s was mostly home crafts. Make your stuff at home, customizable, and make it you. Trying to make women's personality the home. Make your home yours. Make it you. That was big in the 50s. Then the 60s came, and the kids said, "No, Mom. I don't want to be like you." So, in the 60s, big colorful things started happening, aka tie-dye. That started in the 60s. And then using the crafts of their mothers, the 1960s girlies started using them, like taking back crafts, essentially. So where in the 1950s, the moms were basically told, make your home yours. In the 1960s, the girls were taking their girl-coded, proper society things and making them theirs. So like adding macrame, doing folk art, adding beading, adding psychedelic colors to things. Obviously there was, a little bit of drugs here and there going on, but there was like this energy of young people taking the craft and turning it into their own thing, kind of bastardizing it, because what embroidery was to decorate like your home things in like a classy way to make your stuff look more expensive, but do it yourself by hand. Like lace is expensive to buy, but if you learn how to crochet lace, you've got something fancy without having to buy it with money. You have time, but not money. Whereas like these girls wearing macrame bikinis at concerts, it's like a different energy. It's like taking back the craft and using it in their own way, which I thought was really cool. Also, crafts became tied to self-expression and counterculture. I said that, rather than being like government appointed. So the 60s was for that. And then the 70s, right? Macrame. Think about like what was big in the 70s. Lots of crocheted blankets, lots of granny squares, right? 1970s, when I was looking it up, peak grandma craft. That's what I have in my notes. Popular hobbies. Latch hook rugs became big in the 70s. So I don't know what that was all about, but I wonder if it became more popular to have rugs, and they were expensive, and making them was cheaper back then. You know, a lot of stuff we think of it like, oh, they made it because it was cheaper. I don't know if that's the case ever, because that's definitely not the case now. Let's be honest there. Also, in the 1970s, dried flowers started becoming a thing. So you could buy, I have something here from, I think, the 70s. Let me see. This was made by Anne. And it just says it's made in Canada, but probably in the 70s. Just flower arranging with dried flowers. My grandma had lots of these. Like, growing up, they were in my grandma and grandpa's house all over the place. And now... there we go. When I see them at the thrift store, I feel drawn to them. Reminds me of my grandma and grandpa's house. We made a wall hanging as part of helping my uncle get off booze. You know, if it helped for him to work on a rug, and great. That's great. Happy for him. I hope it helped. What was else? In the 70s, oh, candle making became popular. Interesting. Patchwork sewing also became popular, which I love. Macrame, interesting. Granny squares was huge. Granny squares had a huge time in the sun, and I think it's because it's like the closest you can get to tie-dye with crochet. If you think about like what a tie-dye shirt looks like, the closest thing you can do is granny squares. And I think also because if you're out at a festival for 4 days, you can make a granny square pretty quick. You can make a granny square probably on drugs. You can make a granny square probably while drinking. I feel like anyone can make a granny square. So it feels like a thing you could do if you were with all your friends. You could be like, everyone make a granny square, and then we'll make a scarf with it after or something, you know? Feels very 70s to do that, in my opinion. Obviously orange. Orange being the color of the 70s. I had that. That's one of my notes is too much orange. Orange everywhere. And then the 1980s, things got colorful again. So it was 60s, it was colorful. 70s, we went to a lot of the like warm browns, olive greens, orange, yellow, like warm burnt tones. In the 80s, we went back to unnatural. So it was like 70s, 60s, unnatural, 70s, natural tones, 80s, unnatural tones, bright, like neon, you know, the 80s, as all of you know from watching Stranger Things, except for all of those of you who were here for the 80s. Godspeed. Big hobbies in the 80s. Friendship bracelets, interesting. And cross stitch, interesting to me. Scrapbooking, and let's see. Oh, decorating clothes. The rise of craft kits and hobby stores started in the 80s. Okay, so that's, I didn't really jump into the 80s very far. I just sort of did an overview on that. But decorating sweatshirts is totally something I can see being 80s, like with the, you know, the puffy, sticky paint. We had that in the 90s too, but I did that at like birthday parties in the 90s. You'd bring a t-shirt and then you'd get to paint on it with the neon puffy paint. So I don't really have a lot for the 80s, actually. The 90s is, for me, nostalgic. Childhood, it's like, that's when all of my crafting childhood. There was this string called GIMP that was really big in the 90s. I know a GIMP suit is a totally different thing than that, but GIMP was this like plasticky thread, let's say, plasticky yarn. It was plastic, but it was long string, and you would use it to make friendship bracelets, and it's basically like a piece of linguine, like that flatness and that thickness, but it's like plastic and you can move it around, but like dimensionally linguine. Also bead animals. I saw this thing yesterday that actually tied to it pretty well. Alex showed me. This guy made a beaded possum. I used to do lizards or snakes all the time. It was like you'd use those pony beads and you can turn them into like animals and critters and stuff. And a guy did a possum, and then he said, I want to make it huge. So he 3D printed gigantic pony beads and made a giant possum bead wall hanging. Very cool. I thought that was super fun. So bead animals were big. Also, decorating your room, like making your bedroom insane, was big in the 90s. Having a really customized decor. It wasn't really crafty. It was more purchased, but like you would have like a bedroom with a bed skirt and pillow shams and pillowcases and like sheets and a fitted sheet and a flat sheet and a comforter and a quilt, and all of those things would be the same theme. So it was like your whole bedroom had a matching theme. That was big in the 90s. And friendship bracelets were still really big. And at this point, crafting is basically pointless. Like I say pointless as in we're not knitting socks to keep our children warm in the 90s is the point. We're doing it for fun and for personality and for standing out and being different. In the 50s, even the 60s, it was like, it wasn't about being different. It was about things you had to make. You had to do it. So that sort of was done. And now, then in the 2000s, I've already talked about this a little bit, the rise of Tumblr, the Tumblr culture. There was a big, like, push, maybe, no, it would be the 2000s, it wasn't the 90s. There was a big push on Tumblr where people would they would show off their crafts, but it was not teachable. It was more, I guess it was kind of like what Instagram was doing. You weren't learning to do the crafts, you were being inspired. It was kind of like a Pinterest, Instagram sort of situation. And there would be all this aesthetic photography of beautiful spaces, and it was like the way that people shared what they wanted to do and what they wanted to make. Big on that time was, I found a lot of wedding dresses, lots of wedding content, wedding hair, wedding dresses, wedding everything. I mean, that could also be the age I was dealing with. And what else? Yeah, so crafting shifted in the early 2000s, in the 90s and early 2000s when computers came. It shifted from being something you would do with your mom and grandma or with your friends to being something that you did online alone or that you learned online alone. And it became a lot more of an isolated situation that it never was before. Like it just always had been a community thing. But with the advent of internet, people who would not have otherwise had that community, the community of people in real life, to do the crocheting and knitting with, would have had access to a new community of people to do it with. So more people who would not have previously had access to that knowledge would have access to it, but it also kind of sucked for the in-person community aspect. Which is fine. It happens. That's just the way it goes, right? And now we're in this huge boom of crafting, and it does have to do with the computers, sure, because now there's like content creators like myself who, I'm sorry, I keep bumping the table and it's making the camera shake and it's making me feel distracted. So I'm going to try and move myself so I'm not touching the table. Okay. Let's try this again. Move all that way. And then, like this. Maybe this will work. Okay, so now a huge push has kind of shown up for all of the handicrafts, including gardening, which I thought was pretty cool, kind of for lots of reasons, right? People want to slow down and they want to log off. Unfortunately for me, I don't want you to log off, but people want to log off. They don't want to be in these echo chambers. They don't want to be stuck looking at how bad the world is. They want to be out in grass. People want to touch grass. Let me see if I can just, hold on a sec. Ow! See if that helps me. Oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. So, now, in the early 2000s, like 2008 to 2015, even 2016, even beyond that, there was a really big push of turning any hobby into a side hustle. All of us got caught up in it. Many crafters and many neurodivergent people got caught up in that, myself included. But there was this period where it was pushed to everyone that anything that you can do outside of your work hours should be also making you money. And that's not true. That's so not true. Your hobbies should not be intended to make you money, but that was a push for a while. So people got into crocheting clothing, undercharging wildly, knitting clothing, creating patterns. There was a huge boom. Think of Knititude and So Very Easy and some of these other people who share their knowledge on these crafts and have huge audiences because of it. People are really hungry for the craft knowledge that kind of got lost in between the 1950s and now. There's this push to bring back those skills and those, like, that knowledge is being lost. Even though it exists on the internet now, it's being lost because people just don't learn it. They just learn it newly each time they want to know it, you know? It's like not getting stored within us. So there's that. There's also, in the 2010s to now, journaling. Did everybody get into bullet journaling? I did. I have stayed into it. So, I mean, like, it's not just a fad, Mom. But bullet journaling became big, and then things like art journals and scrap journals and flip throughs, and people really just want to touch grass. They want to touch stuff. So there's a lot of like desire for that connection now, and people, you know, they kind of have rose glasses about it, you know, like the cottagecore and the van life and all these types of like off the beaten path lifestyles are now including a lot of these crafts. People are doing pottery in big numbers. People are making paper. People are making sourdough. There's like lots. People are learning watercolor and how to press flowers and how to candle make and how to mend things. And visible mending is becoming cool. And lots of slower crafts are becoming cooler again. I say they're trending again, but in reality, they just never really go away. It's just, they just are in flux about how much they are part of the conversation, because there's periods of time where crafting is invisible because it's not bragged about. It's something you had to do. Like, it's something I have to do to make my house a home. It's something I have to do for my country. It's something I have to do to save money. But like now, it's not so much. It doesn't have to be any. It's, people are bragging about it. People are proud of the things they're making. People are showing them on the internet. But I think that the draw right now, like, there was the pandemic draw where everybody was stuck at home, so they started doing handicrafts and making bread and all the things. And then there was the pandemic where people started gardening for fear that the grocery stores would not have things, food for them. And then they started learning handicrafts because they had a fear that they would not have access to all of their treats and comforts. And those are all fine. Now that people are no longer as engaged with the pandemic and with each other in general, the push, I think, has kind of shifted. Instead of it being like, we're all gonna die, it's more like, we're all gonna live. So what can we do to make it easier while we're here? People are realizing we're not all gonna die by the time we're 30. The world isn't gonna end. So people are getting burnt out. They've been working hard for what? And now they're realizing it's like, for what? I just get to keep working till I die. So people are feeling burnt out, and a nice way to unburn out yourself is to learn a craft. It takes your mind off of it, especially if it's like a mindless thing. Something like gardening, you can just be pulling weeds. You don't have to be doing a lot of thoughts. And while you're doing that, your brain is just processing everything. And it's very therapeutic, very meditative, and I feel like a good chunk of the handicrafts that are popular now have to do with like tactical feeling, like literally like sensory input. I feel like the adults who are getting into crafting may not realize that that's what they're doing, but they're looking for sensory input. It's not like the hobby they're taking up is reading old poetry. You know what I mean? The hobby they're taking up is clay, like getting dirty on purpose, gardening, growing, like crochet, knit, things where you have to have your hands involved and where it's not about just sitting on your phone, doom scrolling and just like trying to make money on everything, hustling everywhere all the time. There's a lot of like benefit to just slowly thinking very little and just moving forward step by step. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the now of it all. That's the now grandma hobbies. I feel like the grandma hobbies now are about not making money, but touching stuff. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I feel like in the earlier part of the 2000s, it was like, your hobby should make you money. That's why you learned it. And now it's like, no, your hobby is your private thing to keep you from unaliving yourself or others, essentially. So then I started making a list, like a pros and cons list of handicrafts, of like what they can do for you and what they're good for, what they're bad for, basically. So mental health is a huge one. Knitting and crochet specifically require a lot of repetitive motions and not a ton of thinking. Obviously, this is not the case if you're making some detailed, complex lacework knit thing. You're going to need to pay attention and count stitches. But like for what I'm doing right now, I'm just doing a half double crochet over and over and over again. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Just over and over and over and over and over again. And it allows your brain to kind of work through stuff because you don't need to be fully present, and yet it keeps you present enough that you don't spiral, at least in my experience. They say that handicrafts like these reduce anxiety and also can help prevent the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. Having these types of crafts can keep your mind busy in a way that, like how conversation keeps your mind busy. Like, it's like good for your brain. And what else? Oh, also, of course, it gives your brain a break from screens by having something that is physical, that is 12 inches in front of your face, that your fingers are active and like paying attention to the whole time. It keeps you here, and it allows your brain to kind of calm down from the blue light of death. And, oh, there's another one that's really good. It helps you feel accomplished. When you finish making something, girl, the feeling you get is quite lovely. Let me tell you, you get to feel kind of awesome. I had this feeling recently when I went out to the forest and I foraged dinner for us. I got a bowl of fiddleheads, a bowl of ramps, and fiddleheads, ramps, garlic mustard, and wild ginger are what I collected from the forest. And while I was out there, I had an amazing time. But when I finished cooking the dinner, I had this immense sense of accomplishment that I made dinner from wild food. And it felt really, like I said to Alex, I laughed because I said, I feel really, and I had a big pause and I said, proud of myself? That was the feeling. I feel proud of myself. I went to the forest. I spent 3 hours in the forest foraging and enjoying myself, obviously, flipping over logs, collecting cool things, and taking pictures of salamanders and mushrooms. But then I came home and I cooked dinner from it, and it felt like I did this for free. No, it took hours of work plus a whole bunch of processing, but I collected it from the woods. And it's this feeling of accomplishment, this feeling of, like, pride. It really does it's a dopamine high, totally, Candace. It's a dopamine high. And I feel like I get that every time I finish a crochet or a knit project also. So that's pretty fun. Excuse me. So one of the big ones for me, you guys know, is the way that it makes me feel connected to all the women of forever. That's not just me. Feeling connection to family traditions is one of the big reasons people get into learning some of these old crafts. And while I say connecting it to all the women of forever, that's basically connecting it to family traditions. You know what I mean? That's pretty similar. I'm just connected to all women forever. So there's that. For lifestyle stuff, it also has benefits, handicrafts that is. It makes people more aware of consuming what you're consuming and what is involved in what you're consuming. So like, even if you're buying acrylic, when you're a crocheter, you start to get to know fibers. You start to get to understand fibers, and you start to get to make choices about the fibers you're wearing. And that trickles down into the purchases that you make otherwise. So because people are getting into crochet and knitting, my hope is that the desire for plastic-based textiles depletes. Not everyone can wear wool or cotton or linen or whatever, but I know many people who get into knitting and crochet. They start with acrylic, they move to cotton, they move to wool, and then they are all excited trying all the different fibers that they never would have even known about before working with fiber, because unless you have an allergy to wool, you don't really need to know percentages in your clothing or percentages of what fibers are what. You don't need to know any of that stuff. Then when you start working with the fibers and you're like, I want this to have a better hang, you learn about drape, you learn about thickness of yarn, you learn about fiber content, you learn about staple length. It gets you into this whole other world of understanding textiles. And even if you don't mean to, you just, like, as a byproduct, you learn a lot. And those learned skills translate across other purchases. So I find I make an effort that I didn't used to make to purchase things that will deteriorate and rot. As you look around, I know you see a lot of plastic around me, but generally I like to buy things that are cotton and linen and wool and wood and metal and stone and ceramic, and I do my best to avoid plastic. Obviously, we live in like the after times. We live in the apocalypse. There is plastic everywhere all the time. Everything is plastic, even if it looks like it's not. Like, these buttons are made to look like tortoise shell, but they're plastic. I mean, I guess I'd rather have them be plastic than tortoise shell, because tortoise shell they needed to kill a tortoise. Tortoise shell? Anyway, so those are all positives to me. There are some downsides. Hold on, did I miss any upsides? Okay, one of them was you could make it a business, and you learn skills, which is great. So negatives, downsides. Hoarding. To all of my crafty girlies, you know this. It's very hard to part with your craft supplies. And there's this thing that happens when you get into yarn crafts where you buy yarn, and buying yarn becomes a separate hobby from crocheting. When you start crocheting, you go to the store, you buy yarn, and you crochet something with the yarn that you bought. And then eventually, when you go to the store, you buy yarn for the thing you were going to crochet right now, and then you say, I'll pick up yarn for the next project, and then I won't have to come to the store again. Plus, I have this coupon, blah, 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 blah. And then you end up with a huge amount of yarn storage. And then you can end up with pests like carpet beetles or wool moths, fabric moths, whatever moths, cloth moths. You can end up with all kinds of trouble because you have so much yarn. So there's that. And then you end up with so much yarn you don't know what to do with it. And then you just have small balls of different things. Crafting in general is a supply heavy hobby. Like golf, you buy your one set of golf clubs and you're good for years and maybe forever. I don't know. I don't golf. But like you want to get into baseball, you buy a baseball glove. Like, you don't have a lot of equipment. Whereas for crochet, there's yarn, crochet hooks, and then you say, oh, that's not very much equipment. Stitch markers, yarn needles, measuring tapes, more yarn, more yarn, more yarn, a ball winder, a yarn swift, more yarn, wool wash. Then you get into yarn dyeing because everyone who plays with yarn wants to have their own custom colors. Every craft is connected to 3 more crafts. And if you love the one craft, you're gonna love at least one of the other 3 crafts. Like, you say, I like crochet. Okay. If you like crochet, you may like dyeing your own yarn, spinning your own yarn, designing crochet wear. Those are 3 separate things from crocheting. I like to crochet. But I also like to dye yarn. I also like to spin yarn, and I also like to design crochet wear. Those are not crochet. Those are 3 separate things. So each craft is connected to another, and not everybody's going to want to design crochet wear. Not everyone's going to want to dye yarn. Not everyone's going to want to spin yarn. But there are tons of little crafts like that across the entire craft spectrum. Like if you say, I'm into painting with acrylic, it's just one step away from painting with watercolors, which is just one step away from making lake pigment. Now I'm making my own watercolors. Same with natural dye. I'm natural dyeing, which is just one step away from lake pigment, which is one step away from watercolors. So even though I'm doing natural dye for yarn, I'm connecting in to watercolors. Or gardening. I want to garden. I love natural dye. I grow indigo. Now I'm gardening. That's planting. That's one hobby. Then I'll do natural dye with that hobby and make indigo, which is for yarn. And then I'll use the extra lake pigment to make watercolor. It's just all of the hobbies end up getting connected. Are you doing gardening? Then you're probably doing flower pressing. Are you doing gardening? Then you're probably doing medicinal herbs. It just feels like all of the handicrafts are witchy and like woman. Not woman like vagina versus penis. Woman like Mother Earth. It is woman to do craft. That being said, if you don't identify as a woman or a man, I'm not coming at you. I'm not saying that you're not valid. Everything is valid. Trans rights are human rights. Trans people are valid. Non-binary people are valid. I love everybody. I mean, like, God is a woman, not like... I'm not trying to say women have to have vaginas. I'm saying arts are a woman's... The crafts are a woman's domain because they always have been. Obviously, everybody can craft. Everybody can knit. Everybody can crochet. There's Mikey from that yarn brand. I identify as crochet. Exactly. I identify as handicrafts. My pronouns are knit and crochet. Sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, like how all the conservatives are like, my pronouns are shut up. I'm like, those aren't what... You just look dumb. Please stop. But anyway, I identify as crochet as well. And I just feel like... I don't know. I feel like the downsides are not great. Nurturer and nature. Nurturer and nature is one. Yeah, a nurturer. I feel like the nurturer. The nurturer is the crafter. Okay, so some of the downsides to crafting right now in this time of our world is the world is on fire, and it can feel frivolous to purchase plastic to crochet into a sweater when the world is on fire. But if you only look at what you are doing and you think, I am connecting to every single woman before me who has made a sweater for her husband, who has kept her family warm through the winter with her hands, it just kind of tightens down your focus so that you don't have to, like, turn off the lights when you leave the room, turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth, all of these things where you're like, I feel guilty because the world is on fire, so I'm doing my part, you know? Pronouns, foundation, chain, literally. So having it, negatives, hoarding is one. Overconsumption, which is partially hoarding. Then there's also the burnout of the hustle culture. That's a negative for me, is people lose the love of their hobby because they tried to turn it into a moneymaker and then it took all the love out of it. So that sucks. Physical downsides to crafting, your fingers get arthritis. All of them. You just end up sore. Your body, handicrafting is a stiff, hunched, tight job. So eventually, if you don't stretch often, you will hurt. These are also survival skills. Yes, they are. Sure. Ugh. And let's see. Another downside is it's hard sometimes. Learning crochet and knitting is hard sometimes, and it's still worth it to try. So that's that. Okay, and then I made a list of questions for us to talk about. I made a document today. Do you love this? I'm proud of myself. I will let you know, making this document made me feel really way more organized about what we were going to talk about today, which makes me feel great, feel like we have a topic going for the whole time. And then I also made a list of questions so that we could talk them out together. Thank you for being here for my first attempt at organizing my live stream. Actually having an organized live stream. I'm going to give you a bunch of options what we could talk about on Friday because I made a list and then I can elaborate that out into its own outline. Okay, so here's the first question. What craft reminds you of your childhood? Not what craft do you like, not what craft reminds you of your mom. What craft reminds you of your childhood? What was something that you did as a kid that fits under the umbrella of handicrafting? I'll go first. I, as a kid, obviously was super into arts and crafts. I was really into painting and charcoal. So for me, one of the big handicrafts I was into was handicrafts, art. That's art. So, okay, let's move from that. Handicrafts, charcoal, sewing, clay. I was big in clay. I can't say I was big at making anything, but I loved making clay. I loved digging in my backyard growing up until I hit clay, digging out the clay, and then going through the whole process of processing the clay. I didn't know that's what I was doing because I was a child, but I understood this mud is sticky and different. When I mix it with water, it falls to the ground. I can pour off the water, and now I have clay. That was intuitive. No one ever taught me that. I intuitively understood and learned clay as a child. So for me, clay was really big, but as far as trendy, like, what handicrafts were big, definitely, GIMP bracelets were huge. GIMP bracelets were very big. Collage was big with me and my friends. Collage was such a fun one, but I loved friendship bracelets and keychains and dog collars and anything I could make that was basically tied a series of knots. I was 100% into it. If I could do that, I was into it. Chalk, does that count? I mean, sure, why not? Everything can count. Bedazzling. I wish I had gotten into studs and bedazzling. I think I did studs on something like once for a Panic at the Disco concert. I added studs to a thing, and that was it. I wasn't really big on bedazzling or studs. I feel like there was a tool that you could buy that did that, though. I'm sorry, I have a knot in the muscle where my head connects to my neck, and it's been there for like weeks, and I've been trying to deal with it, and now it is so sore. Ugh. It's made it almost impossible to crack my neck. Poor me. Yeah. Anyway, chalk I think will count. What else was I doing as a kid? I was doing a lot of sewing. I got a sewing machine when I was like 8 years old because I don't know, man. My grandma gave me lessons, and then I took lessons at Sears as a child, and then I was like, I need a sewing machine, and my parents were like, yeah, you're 8. That's fine. You can have a sewing machine. And so I had a sewing machine, and I would just buy things at the thrift store, cut them up, and sew them back together. Usually all that meant was I was changing the size, but like on Halloween, we would like go to the thrift store and buy a dress, and then I would like stitch it on to my sister so that it would fit her. So I was doing a lot of that as a child. Thrifting was like one of my favorite ways to get fabric. I didn't know what I was doing. So that was one of my main things. Chalk and bedazzling. All right. And let's see. Oh, here's another one. Did your grandparents, great-grandparents, or any older adult in your life teach you any of your crafts? I'll go first. So when I was little, between the ages of 5 and 7, I learned how to crochet and how to knit from my grandmother. She had to set me up in these situations. Like, she would have to cast on for me. She would have to do my foundation chain. But I learned how between, I'm going to say, it had to have been between 5 and 7 because she died when I was 9. And like she had a stroke when I was like 7. So it was after that. It was before that. So let's say 6 or 7. I learned how to knit and crochet, and then I didn't do it. After she died, I didn't knit or crochet for a very, very, very long time, to the point that I forgot how. And then my little sister, Julia, decided she wanted to learn to crochet, so she learned, and then she re-taught me so that I could do it. And that was, I don't know, probably close to 10 years ago now. And so, yes, kind of. The old man at Sears taught me how to use my sewing machine when I was 8, and then my grandmother taught me how to crochet and knit when I was 7, probably. But I don't think I had any other old influences. You know, my great aunt and my other great aunt, my grandmother's sisters, I believe they taught me how to French braid. I don't remember learning, but I was told that as a kid we always did it in the summer when we would go visit family, and that's who would have taught us. Me and my sisters, I mean. But not really. I guess it's just really my grandma and then that one old man from Sears. Has anyone else taught me anything about crafting? I feel like everything else I've learned by books, internet, and through trial and error. That's me, anyway. And okay, so this one, I don't know. This one, do you think social media helps or hurts crafting culture? I'm of two minds. I feel like I can argue both sides pretty well. I feel like, yes, it's helping culture, the culture of crafting, because more people can access each other. But then I also feel no, because it's hurting the crafting community, because it's creating this unrealistic expectation of perfection that I don't like. And then it's also creating this, like, just everything has to be monetized. Everything is worth money. And it's not, and it can't all be monetized. Like, people ask me often when I'm out in the world, like, do you sell those? I would love to buy one from you. And, like, I can't be rude to them. They don't know anything. They just see a custom clothing item and go, that's so cool. And then, like, I want to say to them, how much do you think, like, a one-of-a-kind Versace item is? Like, is it too expensive, or is it just, it's not functional to purchase? I feel that way about all of my crocheted clothes. I spend hours and hours and hours for it to translate, just for the hours I work on it and supplies, not for any profit, just paying for the hours that I actually sit and crochet a sweater and the fiber that I need for a sweater. It's like close to $1,000 these days. Like, I don't sell them. I'm just doing the math. Honestly, I haven't done the math in a while. Let's do the math real quick. It's gonna take us just a minute. Okay, so if it takes me, how many hours does it probably actually take me? Probably 40. Let's just say 40, because, man, I don't know. Let's just say 40 hours. And I mean, I don't know what minimum wage is anymore, but most people right now are doing the math as $20 an hour. So just at our 40 hours times $20 an hour, just for our time, that's $800. Plus, if we're paying, let's say we're paying $10 a ball of yarn, which is expensive, but not out of hand expensive. That's pretty much the price of a lot of yarn, is about $10 now. It used to be like $3 to $5, but that's not really available anymore. So let's say it's $10 a ball, and I'm making an extra large men. I'm gonna need 9 balls, which gives me $90, which is gonna be $890. I said almost $1,000. Plus 90, 40 hours times $20 an hour equals 800 plus 90, 890. People don't understand that it's time. Right, so they'll say something along the lines of, I'll pay for the yarn. Can you make me a sweater? I'll buy the yarn for you. They say, can you make me a sweater? I'll give you the yarn. Wait, I'm making a sweater, but somehow you're the one who's giving? I don't understand. I'll give you the yarn if you could make me it. And then even if I say to people, well, just the yarn would be around $100. Like, that's just the yarn. That's not even that's nothing else. It's just yarn is $100. And they go, oh, I thought it would be like 20 bucks or something, like 5 balls of yarn. No, it just doesn't cost $20 anymore to make a sweater. That's just not the way it is. And while I understand people being interested in asking the question, because if you don't know, you don't know. As someone who makes stuff, I'm like, if someone's wearing a handmade crochet thing, either they made it themselves or they are very loved, because nobody's selling handmade crochet stuff for any reasonable amount of money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. We're getting closer. I don't know if we're going to get to 25 with all that, though. Also, I can feel a loose hair touching my shoulder that's not attached to me. And it's gonna make me scream. Okay. It's all good. Yes, it's a lot of time. Anyway, that was my document for today. I hope you enjoyed the stream topic that took us almost 2 hours to get through. I created a stream topic that took us almost 2 hours to get through. I think I deserve some kind of something. A round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am a real live YouTuber. Check my play button. So I'm going to do that now every stream, hopefully. I'm going to try and come up with a topic, and I'm going to make an outline for us to go through so that we can actually have like a kind of organized discussion. I like when we have discussions. I like it being like a discussion topic sort of thing. If you have any suggestions for discussion topics, I'm going to create its own page in Discord so that you can, thank you, loved it. Oh yeah? Awesome. I'm going to create a page in Discord so you can add topic ideas if you have them. What a weird way to decide to lie down, Toby. His bed is here. He's decided his head is now here, and this is just his butt. I'm glad you liked it, Candace. I actually have a whole list. I have 25 ideas. Okay? So I'm not going to go through all 25 of them, but I do want to tell you, I don't know, maybe there's only a few of us in here right now, but I could probably just put a poll out for a couple of them. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's start a poll. I'm going to give you some of the options. Okay, so one is crafting through burnout, dealing with creative slumps, doom scrolling, hobby fatigue, and why crafting is actually good for all those things. Just pick a different craft. Another one is, let's see. No, we just did this one. I could delete it. Oh, dream garden planning again. Like actually drawing out the dream garden plan. Let me see. What for next time? And are we going to draw a perfect garden plan, or are we going to do, let me see. No. Now that I'm looking at them, I feel like I don't know. Hold on. Let me just look at the things I have. Oh, this one's fun. Would you, hold on. What for next time? Would, I can do this. Would you survive the apocalypse with crafts? Apocalypse. That is correct. Apocalypse. Oops, there's an O. Would you survive the apocalypse with crafts? Oh, I have too many. Would you survive the... Should I just put the apocalypse? Is there enough? Ah, I still need to remove letters. Okay. Would you survive the apocalypse? And let's see. Gardening stuff. Trends that never die. Oh, how to make life cozy. That was one of them that I had a lot to say on. How to make life cozy. Okay, so I think those three are pretty okay. But I want to do more topics that I have to actually like do a little bit of research the night before. It gives me something to do the night before, and it allows me to have like a clear plan for the whole stream, which I think is great. And what other one? I do like the idea of the dream garden, obviously. Yeah, seedling updates. That's not really a whole topic. We have to come up with some topics is the point. I feel like the live stream would benefit from having a little bit more organization. Artwork right now, but I'll pull up with my crew. Oh, at work right now. Thank you, Sammy. But I'll pull up with my crew for your next stream. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. So thank you for saying you'll pull up my Twitch chat. Feel free to join on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Discord. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on, you know, just follow me. Come along with us. Okay, so, what else did I want to say? Oh, I want to, hold on, let me just pull myself together here. Okay, so a couple of days ago, I picked some lilacs. I will get back into crochet, I promise. How to make life cozy, love that for us. Just one vote on the poll, guys. If you're here and you're not at your computer right now, go to your computer real quick and vote on the poll. I'm going to pull out something I started. I think it'll be done by now, but I don't really know. Oh, ow. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Oh, my bad posture. It's so bad. Oh, that my tailbone is like sore. Okay. So I got this like forever ago, and I've just been holding on to it, waiting to remember that I have it, to use it. And it is, flower drying silica gel. I put some lilacs in it a couple days ago, and I mean, I feel like they are perfectly dry. Let's see if we can dust off. Where did that brush go? I just had it. Where did I literally just had the little brush. And here's the packaging for it. I took it out of the packaging. Did it fall? Or am I just literally crazy? Oh, my butt didn't hurt that time. Okay, no, it's not there. It's not here. I swear to goodness gracious, I came over here holding both items. How does this happen? I was holding both things. You saw, oh there, it fell. Okay, it just fell. Everything's fine. It just fell. We're all good, everyone. Don't panic. Okay. So I've got lilac that I put in to the silica a couple days ago. And I put some individual flowers, but I also put like a bunch, like a bundle of them in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, ready? Fully dehydrated crispy, but still purple, which is awesome. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? And like, listen, I'll grab one of them and crunch it so you could hear. Like, totally dry. So fun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I just wanted to see if it would work because I've had this silica gel. I had it all last summer. I think my mom gifted it for me like 2 Christmases ago, but it's like invisible when you're not thinking about it. So I forgot that I had it. Isn't that cool? I don't know how I'm going to get all these bits out. I feel like I'm going to need like some kind of strainer. Okay, so some of them look better than others. Some of them are kind of got crunched up. Oh, there's another good one. Are you also totally dried out? How cool. Where did you get it? The gel. I'm pretty sure my mom got it for me, and I'm pretty sure she would have gotten it at either Amazon or like an Amazon resale place. She's very, very good at getting those deals. One sec, I need a little sifter thing. Do have major tailbone pain though. Need a new chair, I think. Even though this chair is not old, I have pain that I didn't have before. My back turned 75. Yeah, there's tons in here still. One sec. Maybe if I do this, it'll come to the surface. Okay, I'll show it to you up close in just a minute. You could just leave it in the box. That's true. That's not a bad idea. Do you want to see up close what they look like? Ta-da! They are fully dry. I want to sacrifice one to show you, so I'm going to pick the ugliest one. Okay, these are all beautiful. That one's ugly, and this one's ugly. I just want you to understand how dry they are. Ready? Look. Like fully, completely dehydrated. How cool is that? Well, I think it's very cool. I'm gonna just put them back in the box until I can figure out what I want to do with them. I think I want to put them under glass though. I think that's one of the plans, is that I want to put it like inside of some glass thing with flowers. But now I can dehydrate plants in a 3D way. And it says also you can reuse it, which is cool because you could just re-dehydrate the silica gel. And when you re-dehydrate it or you heat it up, does it retain the smell? I don't want to put my nose up close to it because it's silica, and I have a fear that I'm going to die by breathing in silica because I'm not careful generally. So yeah, not going to smell it. That's a good thing to check though. Maybe someday I'll lose that fear and then I'll smell it. Anyway, we've got that. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to be doing that with other flowers this year. And stay tuned for that because we are going to have some really cool zinnias this year. So my plan is to have a dried bouquet of big flowers this year. Like, I'm going to show you what sometimes people do this. Silica gel dehydration. Please hold while I just sort out my life here. Silica gel flower drying. I just want to show you what some of the flowers can look like. Okay, Discord. Okay. Keep your garden forever. Hang dried, silica gel dried. Do you see the difference? Look at what it looks like coming out of the flowers, out of the gel. Show me the after. Flower drying with silica. Sure, sure, sure. But like show them to me. The afters. Anyway, they keep the color, which is what I'm really excited about. They're showing me them making them, but I want to see the dried flowers. Let's see. Dried with silica gel. Do you see? It's like just still prettier. How about flowers dried with silica gel? Like, those are still really pretty. So I like the idea of us being able to keep some of our really weird things this year, some of our prettiest things. Dahlia, ranunculus. Yeah, I'm thinking keeping some of our dahlias would probably feel awesome for later in the season to play with. What else are people doing? Orchids, beautiful. Preserving orchids. Love her. This also, it only took 2 days to do that. Obviously, later in the season, if it's full of flowers, it's going to take more. Like, look at that. Air dried versus silica gel. How cool is that? Air dried, silica gel. Air dried, silica gel. It just is a cool, 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 cool thing that I'm excited. Let's see. Flower press versus silica gel. Here's something I'm wondering. What if I put my flower press inside of a box of silica gel? Would I get the benefits of both? Faster dry time, no color loss, but flat? I want both. Can I have both? 2 birds with 1 stone, please. It's what I'm known for. I'm not seeing any others. Let's see. Silica gel versus upside down method. Okay, so we can do it for a lot of different types of plants. That seems pretty cool. Pretty exciting, if I do say so myself. All right. Also, tell your friends and family to join the stream. Come join us. We have fun here sometimes. Most of the time. End poll. How to make it cozy. Thank you for your vote. For your votes. I didn't realize more people voted. How to make life cozy. That's going to be the next stream, guys. How to make life cozy. Let me just write it down. I'll do it in the live stream. Next live stream topic. How to make life cozy. Is cozy with a Z or an S? With a Z. How to make life cozy. Cool. We got something done. We made a topic. I'm so proud of us. Now I can put this away. I can take this back out, and my coffee is definitely cold again. And now I can double count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now I'm on 22. We need to get to 25. You think we'll get there? I think we will. I think we're going to be just fine. 22. So, I'm very happy about having the outline. Now that I've gone through the outline, though, I don't have any more brain cells. So, please feel free to assist. I have to lean forward so that my tailbone will stop hurting. So, I'm just going to lean forward, and you guys can just enjoy my different posture. I missed it. You missed what? Sorry. You missed the whole talk? I did a whole talk, Michelle. I did a TED talk. No, I didn't. But we had a discussion. And now we're going to try and have discussions in the live streams with plans. Also, the garden. If you missed the garden tour, we did that at the beginning of the stream. The garden's looking amazing. It's going to be a nice day, I think. I mean, it's going to rain probably, but other than that, I think it's going to be nice. Let's see. 16 degrees out. No, not rain. Just cloud. No sun at all? Just cloud all day? Don't love that. And then tonight it's getting cold. I already planted my whole garden and we're getting cold tonight, but I don't think it's going to, I just don't think it's going to frost. Chance of precipitation. Show me chance of frost. Yesterday's high, 30. Today's low, 7. Oh, I missed it, the poll. That's okay. It wasn't that important. It was mostly just... It was, what do we want the next topic to be? How to make life cozy, draw a perfect garden plan, or would you survive the apocalypse? And when I say will you survive the apocalypse, I mean with your craft skills, obviously. I don't mean like... Are you willing to fight to the death? Assuming no one's coming to steal your home, land, weapons, body, family, supplies. Assuming nobody's coming for you, will you survive the apocalypse? Okay, here. If every human except your immediate family disappeared from the face of the earth, how about that? That way it's not like... Would you survive people coming? Like, people are going to be awful. In the apocalypse, in an apocalypse scenario, people are going to be the worst. So it's like, not will you survive being murdered? Will you survive the elements is what I mean. But I only had an option in the poll to put it as, would you survive the apocalypse? Okay, let's see. 7 degrees tomorrow morning. Not my favorite. I've already put my whole garden in, but there's only 2 days. It's going down to 7 for like an hour. Yeah, that's fine. And the hour it's going down is 6 a.m. The sun will be coming up. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then Friday, cloudy. Saturday, rainy. Sunday, rainy. Perfect. I don't have to worry about anything. Everything's good and organized. I do wish... is the last frost done? Let's see. Yes, the last spring frost has on average passed. Historical climate data puts it in the middle of May. Okay, well that's not super helpful. I want to know like weather-wise. Tomatoes shouldn't be planted before May 22nd. Oops. I don't grow that though, so it's fine. Okay, hold on. Planting schedule. Let me just look. Let me just have a quick look on the Old Farmer's Almanac. Apparently it's getting canceled, but not yet. Let's see, when to start seeds. We've already done that. When to transplant. May 3rd to 31st for anise hyssop. Basil. Start indoors, direct sow, transplant. Okay, good. I've done all of these. I've done all of the flowers. Let's see what flowers Chamomile, I didn't have to do anything. It does it on its own. I just want to see flowers. You're showing me an awful lot of vegetables. Okay, what temperature is needed? And where can plants be planted? Okay, it's done. We're done. We can plant the garden. The garden is now safe to go in. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Oh, when do I plant dahlias? That's what I wanted to know. Hold on. When can I plant my dahlias outside? After your region's last frost date? That's it? You could plant them outside after all danger of spring frost has passed and the soil has warmed to about 15 degrees Celsius. That's between mid and late May. Okay. Choose a spot that gets plenty of direct sunlight. Yeah. Hold off on watering. Yeah. Okay. So I can put them out, is what you're trying to tell me. Okay. So we want... Okay. I guess we can move our dahlias outside. I was worried that it was too early, so I brought all my dahlias in. Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow, though. Maybe I'll plant them out tomorrow. That way I don't have to worry, because tonight we're getting that cold temperature. So maybe I'll wait till tomorrow for that. Probably for the best. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. What a beautiful day. So I made a new plant friend. As I told you, I did the plant exchange with her. And the plants that I got from her were way healthier than the plants that I brought. I brought her my nicest looking plants, and hers were at least twice as nice. So next year I need to have a plan in place to prevent thrips outbreaks and to prevent spider mites outbreaks in my seedlings, because those two things screwed up my seedlings this year. I mean, nothing died, really. I mean, a few things died. Nothing really was ruined. Nothing was lost. But I did have a die-off from thrips and spider mites, so I need to get control of that next year. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I think maybe what I'll do is what will I do? Maybe I'll bake the soil so it kills everything that's inside. I've heard people do that. That's a lot of soil. Like, I need to have soil, a whole bag of it. And I don't have enough room in my oven to cook that much soil. So, opposite, I could freeze it. So I could freeze the soil. I could buy it in like the fall and let it be outside to freeze. So that's an option, so that there's no spider mites or thrip eggs inside. I basically need to sterilize the soil, I think, next year. I need to start my seeds sterile. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be, I need to make sure that I don't have bugs, because all of my seedlings were too tiny to use insecticidal soap or neem oil on. It would have burned the plants. But yeah, those really slowed me down this year in April. So I think for next year, I would like to come up with a different solution. Another thing I want to do next year is I want new grow lights, like different grow lights. They don't need to be new. What I think I want to do is I want to come up with a way to have more grow lights that don't take up as much space and aren't as heavy. So I don't know exactly how to do that yet, or where it will go, like where our grow light system will have to go. But I would like for it to be more room under the lights, and I would like it to be easier to move, because our grow lights are so heavy. It's like they're made from the heaviest wood. I don't know why, but my dad, when he built them, he probably just built them with like scrap wood he had around, but it's the heaviest wood ever, and it does not need to be that heavy. All the shelf has to hold is a couple of trays of plants. It's not like it's like holding tons of weight. So I think we need new garden grow shelves. But then I'm like, is building it gonna cost the same as just finding it somewhere? Because I'm pretty sure we could also just find it somewhere, you know? Like, grow shelves for seed starting. Like, I'm pretty sure we'd be able to, $1,000? That's a bit steep, bruh. It's a bit much. Plant strip, plant shelf with grow light, 5-tier for seed starting trays. I need them to fit the trays. That's more important. Let's see. 6-tier plant stand with grow lights. How many flats can you fit, though? Show me your largest. Okay, that's AI. I need an actual like picture. I don't need it to hold a lot. Why are they so crazy? Let's see. Waterproof pad with drainage holes. I like that. The lights come on it. Ooh, you can close it so that you don't have to turn the light off, but it won't bother the birds. Okay, cool. Don't know what any of these things mean, and I don't care. Waterproof. Cool. So still not a ton of information. Love that for us. Let's see. Indoor 7-in-1 indoor plant shelf with lights. We love them with lights, but I just want to understand. See, here's the problem I have. Do you see this bottom shelf? How it is only holding one seed tray? That means this beautiful shelf will only hold 5 trays, and I ended up with 19 this year. So I need a better rack. Okay, let's see. Grow racks for seed starting trays. I mean, we could build it ourselves. That's an option. It's just that I feel like us building it ourselves, it might not be cheaper than buying it. If it's cheaper than buying it, that's great. But if it's the same price as buying it, do you see what I'm saying? Let's see. 3-tier LED grow light stand. See, this one from Lee Valley looks like it could be big enough to put them in. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted, is for it to go in sideways. Do you see this? This tray would hold 4, 8, 12 of them. So if this holds 12, I would need 2 of them. You know what I mean? To grow my garden. And not for $900. Option without trays, with trays. How much? $9.75. It comes with trays. Hold on. With trays, without trays. $8.99. Okay. To $9.75. You want me to pay that much for 12 trays? That seems a bit overpriced on that tray there, Lee Valley. Okay, and this one is how much? Show me the evidence. What's the price? $233. Okay, so this one's $233, but this one only holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves. So this one will hold 5 plants, 5 trays. The other one will hold 12. So for the other one, I would need to buy 2 of them at $900 each, being $1,800 for the shelves. Or this one holds 5, which means I would need 4 of them, and it's $800. So it's going to cost the same. No, this is half the price, because this would cost $800 for 4 of them versus $1,800 for 2 of them for the same amount of grow space-ish. What good rolling seed starting rack allows you to fit 4 of them? Ooh, I like that. It ain't pretty, but it's cheap. Let's see. That's the problem. It's so heavy. Plant rack with grow lights. How to build a simple DIY grow light system. Creating an indoor garden for seed starting. Okay, I need more. People, I need more. Let's see. Let's see what Amazon has as a plant grow rack. Let's see what other options we've got with our Amazon. Plant shelf with grow lights, 4-tier large grow light shelf with wheels, 12-pack, blah, 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 seed starting. 13 inches wide. So that's not going to be wide enough to put 2 trays together. And then we've got the greenhouse version. Kind of a greenhouse, let's be honest. And this is 5-tier. What's the difference? 4-tier, okay, 5-tier. Has 4 shelves worth. Yeah. For $300, I could hold 8 of them. So for $600. Okay, so it's still too much. It's too much, dude. I just need it to be like the best for cheap. Can't I just have... Why can't it be the 80s? I want the best for cheap, please. If you could just do that real quick. I guess alternatively, I also have the option of doing something like this, like a grow light, and just putting the light over top of my shelves. Man. You know? Indoor greenhouse with grow light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves. How about huge? What if I put huge? Large plant rack. Large plant rack with grow lights, 4 seed trays. That's what we want. Okay. So Amazon has one style, which is not surprising, but like at the same time, could we have something a little bit better? Let's see. Grow rack for huge grow rack. Large grow rack for seed trays. That's what I want. Okay, the Lee Valley one does look the nicest, I'll be honest. I do like the Lee Valley one. I don't like the price. Ooh, how about a cold frame greenhouse for $200? 8x4 grow light. I hope this is not just mortifyingly boring for you. But if it is, sorry, I still have to do it. It's important, okay? Wholesale greenhouse, mobile, vertical grow. I don't need that. Okay. Like, that's nice, right? Ventilation, sunshine. Let's see, 52 inches by 23 inches by 55 inches. 23 inches is probably not quite long enough. Offering convenient way to organize your plants, vegetables, and flowers. Yeah. I wonder if this brand has something else we might be able to use. A cold frame greenhouse. We've got an actual little greenhouse. That's kind of cute. This little guy, 6 feet by 4 feet, 6 feet by 6 feet. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. 6 feet by 12 feet. Hey Alex, we should build a greenhouse in the hallway between the garage and the fence. Yeah. Do you think it's 6 feet wide?
Between
The garage and the fence?
the doors?
Where, well, yeah, but like between the garage and the fence where the long wall of the garage is. Like the hallway.
It might be.
Cool. I found a greenhouse for $500 that has 6 feet by 12 feet of space.
I don't know if that area could be blocked if you fire it.
Yeah, those are problems for another day. Okay, let's see outdoor. Let's see. I don't know what this brand Out Sunny. I feel like I've heard of it before. Let's see what they've got for greenhouse. Ooh, we could get a shed. 13 feet for a polytunnel greenhouse. That's like what real people have. Oh my god, these are big. I want all of them. Can I have all of these greenhouses, please? With roll-up doors. Oh, so fun. I want to have all of these things. Little greenhouses, little hoop houses. 10 feet long by 3 feet by 2 feet. That feels kind of like I could do that in the hallway. It's removable. Keep the bugs off of it. That's like not that expensive. Does that feel... Am I gonna get cheated or something? What's happening? Do you have that much space? Like, I guess I'll have to move. Because I don't need a greenhouse. I would love a greenhouse though. Wouldn't you just love having a greenhouse? Like, look at how cute they are. They're just like cute little space. Look at this, 6 feet by 12 feet by 6 feet tall. That's pretty nice. For $600? I don't have $600 to spend on a greenhouse right now, but that's not the point. The point is, look how cute these are. They have all these different kinds, all these different colors, 3-tier shelves and 3 roll-up doors. 18 inches wide is not wide enough, so not actually good. That'll only hold 3, 6, 9 of them, and I would need 2 of them, which makes it not cost efficient. A lean-to mini greenhouse. Ooh, this is cute, a little cold frame. I wonder if they have other stuff that I'm gonna want after this. Wooden raised garden bed, that's fun. Crop cage. Just a crop cage. I need those for every single spring to keep the gosh dang squirrels out of my stuff. A wooden garden shed. Do we need that? Probably not. We don't need any of these things. Oh, but look at how fun. A plant protection cage. More of those. Great. Ooh, this is cute. A raised garden bed kit that holds 3 layers of garden stuff. That's fun. She says. We're gonna look at garden beds next. I got distracted. Just play along. It's gonna be fine. Next stream is gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna have so much more to talk about. Okay, we have raised beds. What about on the ground floor beds? I don't like these ones that are raised. I want them like on the floor. Do you have none that go on the floor? Oh, these are elevated. Do you have just like non-elevated? Like just regular? Like this is elevated. We want, what else do we have? We want just regular. Planters. Raised garden beds, vertical garden planters. Let's see raised garden beds. Why is this cheaper than anything on the internet? 8 feet by 4 feet by 2 feet? That's a very good sized garden bed. Don't you think? 23 inches deep? That seems awesome. For 150 bucks, that's a very good price compared to like on Amazon prices. $100 for 8 inches. That's not tall enough. What is this? 6 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet. 6 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet. That's still good too. 8 feet by 2. No, not. I need them taller. We need them taller. These 1 foot is not tall enough. We like them 6 feet by 2 feet by 1. Still not tall enough. 6 by 3 by 2. And what is this? 7.5 feet. Galvanized raised garden bed with cover. Ooh, 7.5 feet by 3.6 feet. That's kind of fun. We love that. 5 by 3 by 2. 7 by 4 by 1. I don't want that. DIY 5 wooden boxes with open bottom. No. 6 by 3 by 2. Ooh, I can smell Alex's soup. He is making soup right now. Okay. Well, I'm surprised that this brand exists. And that I can...
Thanks for letting me know. I didn't know. I forgot I was making soup.
Oh, I can smell it. Is it boiling? Did it burn? It burned. Is it edible still or no? Sorry. How long ago did you put it in? Ooh. A little shed. Did we buy something from the brand Out Sunny?
Out sunny?
Out Sunny. Maybe the thing we had for our wedding, the 10?
It wouldn't
Could
be
that have been out
it'd be
sunny?
Loblaws.
It was Loblaws we got that one
Yeah.
from? That big...
Mm-hmm.
Huh. All right, well. The heck do I know? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out before next spring. I hope. I really hope. By the way, guys, don't forget to click the thumbs up button on the stream. It helps out very much. And all 4 of you are very much appreciated. But tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell everybody. Come hang out with us because it's about to get even better here. I'm going to measure my alleyway and see if it's big enough for a little greenhouse to go there. Unfortunately, I do not have electricity outside anymore. Our landlord disconnected electricity from outside, which is, you know, totally normal vibes. So if I need electricity in the greenhouse, it wouldn't work. That does make me excited though. I'm also excited about the dahlias being allowed to go outside now. Because now I get to decide where are the dahlias going to live? Where will they live? Are they going to be random? Leave a comment. It'll suggest the live to others. Yeah, leave a comment. Leave a comment, and also in your comment, leave suggestions for ideas of topics that I should make an outline for. I like discussion. I like when it's us discussing. I like when I get to share my opinion. I like that. So, also, the algo gods take notes. It's true, the algo gods only listen, the algorithm gods. They only listen if you like and comment. So please like and comment on the video so the algorithm gods will forgive me for the time I've taken off. Because they are super ticked off. Anytime I take any time off, they're not happy with me. And then they punish me. So, alleviate by commenting and liking. For a safety issue, For a safety issue, do you not need light outside? So for a safety issue, no. Well, we have light outside, like security light, but we don't have electricity, like I can't plug in an additional light anywhere else. They just cut the wires. We had an electric garage, and they just said, no, you don't get one anymore. And they just cut the wire to the electric garage door opener and to the light in our garage because they said it was not up to code. Interesting. Now it matters if it's up to code, huh? Okay, I think this was row number 22. Am I going to run out of yarn again? I might. If I run out of yarn again, I'm going to be not pleased. Not pleased one bit. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I'm going to get through one more row, 23, and then I'm going to have to be done because I've pulled it off. Like I ripped it, I mean. Oh. Also, I've decided I'm not going to look for another dog anymore. I'm going to take all of my bookmarks off my computer so that I stop looking. I'm done looking for a dog. We're not going to get a dog this summer. I've decided it's not the right time. What I will do is when we get settled into our next apartment, which may not happen for a long time because I don't have a timeline for that. But when we have another home, then I will open up the search again. I'm not bringing in any more animals. Also, yesterday we cleaned the bird cage, which was amazing. I mean, I clean the bird cage every week on garbage day, but that's inside. Like, I wipe it down with a sponge and soap and get the bird poop off of it. Like, it's clean every week. But what we did yesterday was we took off all the toys, took everything out of it, and then brought the whole bird cage outside. And right before the thunderstorm, I sprayed it all down with soapy water. I have like a spray bottle with soap for my plants. So I just sprayed the whole outside of the bird cage and then just scrubbed the whole outside. And then a thunderstorm came and wiped, I was going to say wiped and washed. Washed away all the soap and all the remaining bird poop. And then we brought it back inside and dried it off. And we have now a beautiful, fresh, clean cage, which is good because the birds are getting delivered tomorrow to their bird sitter. I had to look at the date. They're getting delivered tomorrow to their bird sitter. And the bird sitter has a $50 fee if your cage is dirty and they have to clean it for you, which honestly, go for it. I understand that. However, I don't want that fee, so I always clean it well before we go. And today, the bird cage is the cleanest it's been in weeks. I love when I can get it outside for a wash. Using the hose, using a scrub brush and like a lot of soap, because when I'm doing it inside, I'm like spot cleaning because I don't want my whole house to get covered in soapy water. But when I'm outside, I can just make a mess. It's like car wash. It's a lot of fun. And then the birds are happy and they get to play by the window in their jungle gym. I like to let them watch me clean it so they know why I'm taking it away. No Friday stream? Yeah, on Friday. But tomorrow, oh shoot! No, there is no Friday stream. I'm not going to be here. Duh, I'm going to be on a train headed towards Ottawa. So I am not going to be able to stream on Friday. I'm sorry. I forgot. I will not be here. I will not be anywhere near here. Sorry, Candace. Thank you for the reminder. No, but I'll be back for Monday. I'll be back on Monday for a regular scheduled stream. I hate when this happens. I have to tie a knot in the middle of a row. It's fine. We'll deal with that later. Thank you for the reminder, Candace. To remind you, to let me... I reminded you to remind me. We've both been reminded. Oops. Well, the next stream is Monday. I don't even know what number that'll be. 20-something. Oh, I think next week Alex and I have our appointment with the dermatologist. So I can finally find out if that needs to be like removed or if it's just something to ignore. And then I can have the doctor look at all of my freckles and moles and tell me if any of them are skin cancer. That's something I'm really looking forward to. I would love for a doctor to be like, this is nothing to worry about. Anytime I go to the doctor and the doctor says, nope, that's normal, I'm one of two minds about it. No, it's not. How is this normal? And thank God I'm not dying from cancer. That's literally... So I'll show him all my lumps, all my bumps, all my skin lesions because I'm a freckled girly. I'm just covered in moles and freckles. I'll show him all of them, or her. I think it's a him. And then I will be happy and not have any skin problems. I think this was 23. I'm not going to make it to the end of 24. We've already learned that. So I think I'm going to stop it here. That should work. And then I'll just switch colors here. And you know what? This is a great spot to stop with the crocheting because now you can help me pick the next color. Oh my God, I'm going to lean forward and it's going to hurt so bad. I have to fix my posture. Ow. Oh, I have like I don't know what happened. Something's painful in my tailbone. And Alex said, go to the doctor. And I said, duh. But I also haven't done that. Okay, so here's what it looks like right now with our front and back. That looks way longer. It's not. It's 2 rows longer. Okay, and the colors that we have available to us, we have this purple, which is kind of fun. And I think I have... Do I have any more of it? I might. That's different. Okay, I have pink. Nice. Thank you, Beelzebub. She pooped on this ball of yarn. Beautiful. Okay, I have bright pink. I have purple. I don't like the texture of that one. I don't like the texture of that one. I have more of this. That's good. So I really didn't need to pull that apart. Love that for me. Okay, and then we have more of the orange as an option. And I also have this peachy light peach. I don't know if the light peach is too, like, pastel to go with these other colors. So that's just, I have a lot of it, so we could use that. I also have a darker purple. I don't really feel like this sweater goes with a darker purple though, personally. And I also have another variegated yarn we could do. And a blue variegated. I kind of like the idea of the confetti being the only variegated yarn though. So maybe we do orange. I do have a lot of it. And the colors are cute. It's pink orange. It's like, what's it called? Let's see what the color is named. Light coral is what it's called. So we could use light coral. Which I think could be fine because we have just the wrist, like, cuff, and then the hem is done in the coral. So I think we could get away with doing another, like, good stripe in the midsection, and that would work. I think so. Hopefully. So I think that'll be a good option, the coral. And then I guess we could do the purple. We don't really have a lot of the purple. I do have the darker purple. Do you think that darker purple's too dark? Hold on, let me show you. All right, we're not gonna do brown. That won't work. But maybe, oh wait, are you the same purple? Good, more of the same. Hold on a sec here. Okay, purple, and then there's a dark purple in here. That is optional as well. Oh no, why do you have dots on you? Do you have a moth living in here? No, there is no way. I'm just seeing things. It's fine. I'm just seeing things. There's no way there are moths in here. There can't be. I have had cedar chunks in here the whole time. Okay. We're gonna just believe there are no moths in here. I'm not doing a deep dive right now. Okay, so we have light purple. I think the light purple works with this color scheme. The dark purple, it could work. There's just bits of plant in my whole life. Everywhere I am, everything I am is just surrounded by bits of plant. There's plant around all times. Okay, so teal is a definite yes, because we have to use it again. And then orange or coral is what I think is probably the best bet. And then we have the light purple. I think the light purple is better than the darker purple. I think that's what we'll do. So on Monday, we will work on finishing these pieces. Maybe what I'll do on my trip is I'll make the second sleeve so that you guys don't have to wait for me to do that before we can put the whole thing together. That might work. Or at least I'll get what I can done. I'm pretty sure I see moth damage on some of my yarn in here. There's literally a cedar block in there. That other box is fine, it's just acrylic, but there was one cotton ball in here, and that's apparently all it takes. Cloth moths are the bane of my existence, and I seriously need to just never buy yarn except when I'm actively using it, because they're in my home. They just live here. This home is being eaten from the inside by cloth moths. I'm just gonna wind the ball so that I don't have to do it later. That's the truth. Oh, oh. By the way, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I really like the idea of a discussion topic. So I think I'm going to keep making those little outlines. It's fun for me in the evening too, because while I'm just like getting myself ready for the evening, I can make my little outline. So I'm going to try and do that again. And if you have any ideas, leave them in a comment and I will read all the comments and pick some of the the best topics. Oh, my hands get tired so fast. I'm just an old lady with my yarn here. I know I had more of this yellow. Okay. I'm so popular. Okay, okay. We're almost there. I'm gonna be done before the stream finishes, okay? What? What is it? Huh? What do you think it is, Toby? What are they barking about? Do you need to go outside? Somebody peed on the floor yesterday for the first time in a very long time. You haven't peed on the floor in such a long time. What was that about? I didn't even see it happen. I found a puddle of pee. What was that for? Is it because you asked me to go outside and I didn't understand? Do you want to go outside, go pee? Toby, you want to go out? Hey, wait, where do you think you're going? Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta let Toby out. Or else he's gonna pee on my floor. Right, Beelzebub? Good boy, Toby. Such a good boy. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Thanks for not just immediately going to pee on the floor. Beelzebub. Hi, Peekaboo. You sweet girl. Beelzebub, why you yell at me for? What's that all about, huh? All right, friendship. Hold on, let me just let Toby back in. Come on, don't bark at the squirrels, you. Actually, you're allowed, but come on. You didn't even go pee yet? You just went up in your car? Go pee. That's what I'm saying, Beelzebub. I don't know who he thinks he's talking to. Not his mama, that's for sure. Not with that attitude, huh? Oh, I also have to make the bird list. The bird care sheet. I also have to buy bird food, like today. All right. Thank you for being here today. I hope you had a good time. I'm going to go now and let my dog in from going outside to go pee. And then I'm going to go do garden stuff and work. So I'll see you on Monday. Have a good rest of your week. Don't work too hard. And love you. Bye.